Girl, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but it is what it is, honey. Welcome back to the Yes God Roundtable, season 4, episode number 2, child.
Hey,
I don't
hey,
know why that shit did that, but did that y'all saw that, right?
StreamYard.
yeah.
I have no time, and girl, please. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully, you guys this week has been better than StreamYard's fucking attitude towards creators, honey. Hello, God. And we are here, queer, trying to be everywhere. So please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share to all of these wonderful creators here on the platform. Their information in the description box of this video. So make sure you get into them, honey. We have the wonderful Conscious TV. How are you today?
I am blessed and highly favored. Happy to be here. Hope you guys are all well.
Child, I'm good now. Charlie over here serving us Weather Witch.
Storm as Aurora Monroe.
Yes, God. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Captivating Christian, how you doing?
Hey, I'm well. Getting into this whole football thing at my relative's house right now, but still got to do what you got to do. But,
My husband is playing, and I heard that he just got hurt. So Odell Beckham, anytime you need a friend, I will be here. Never be alone again. I'm here, honey. So don't you ever feel lonely. Because YB will make it all right. Get up, honey, and win the game, honey. Yes, I don't have no money on it, but
that's on Captivating Christian's nightcap.
You said the what?
Captivating Christian's nightcap.
What about it?
Him and Odell Beckham is on Captivating Christian's nightcap.
Odell is on me, giving me the nightcap.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm not much of a sharer, but I'll let you have that.
Take all the fun out of it.
What's up, TREMEL? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm margaritaed a little bit. I'm coming down. So I'm watching Conscious,
What? What?
He's conjuring the ancestors.
I feel like
What?
We'll talk about it later.
No, what? Tell me now. What?
Is you flirting with Cat? I'm just
get out of my business. You gotta be in the business.
I'm just trying to figure out what's
Don't
going
figure
on.
out. You figure out you and Cordell on that bar night. Don't figure that out.
Excuse me.
On that note, so
I thought we were moving into the future.
You figure out I'm in love with a friend, okay?
Right.
Okay, and Cat's Meow will be joining us shortly. Yes, God. So welcome, Chad. How are you guys today? Thank you for joining us again. Remember to hit that like button and to follow and subscribe the wonderful people that are blessing this panel this evening, okay? So we're going to get into some things. We have 3 topics for you guys tonight. I'm going to start off with my topic. So, child, the Florida Senate passes a Don't Say Gay bill that would bar LGBTQ discussions in school. And I'm just going to read briefly what they state here. The Florida Senate Education Committee passed a controversial bill on Tuesday that would bar school districts from encouraging classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity. The Parental Rights and Education Bill, commonly referred to the Don't Say Gay bill, would apply to such topics in primary grade levels as well as in cases where the discussions are deemed not age appropriate. The bill proposed by Republican State Senator Dennis Baxley, he sounds like old backyardian ass type of dude, honey, would extend to student support services, including counseling, and would require school district personnel to give parents all information related to a student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being, unless it's believed that such disclosure would result in abuse. Parents would be able to sue districts that do not follow these requirements. First of all, I just want to say this. Ron DeSantis is the governor of this old trash ass state that I live in, child, that I'm born and raised in. And we know that he's made a lot of filthy, stupid, idiotic, crazy decisions in the past at the behest of his Lord and Savior, his master, honey. Lord Trump child, Lord Voldemort, to some of the girls who
Do not say his name.
You know, like, oh, thought that was him, girl. Thought that was him. He will appear. And it seems like people are just trying to continue to demonize and, you know, suppress, first of all, schools, right? Some children, actually most children, if the data shows, find school to be a refuge, a safe haven where they can come and be themselves. I've even heard stories that teachers have become damn near parental figures to some of these students based on the conversations that they have, the issues that they have. So now we want to add to the suicide rates, drug abuse rates, alcoholism, depression, more mental issues to these poor children who actually find school to be a safe place to have these open discussions, whether it's amongst their friend groups or, again, guidance counselors, you know, their teachers, principals, like, and now they're going to be able to be sued. You guys have any thoughts?
Well, I guess I'll start on the unpopular side. Personally, like, I guess I understand like what you're that can happen, you know, when it comes to like suicide rates and suppressing a child's identity and stuff like that. But I also see it as, I hope and I would pray that it would be more so like not making sex an issue for children and it not being appropriate for certain age groups, because I don't think that, I mean, I want children to be able to express themselves however they want, obviously, you know, but like, I don't want a child to be shut down just because they're speaking about their own sexuality and stuff like that. But I also don't think it's appropriate to be talking about sex with children, you know, whether it be straight sex, gay sex, you know, bisexual sex, all kinds of sex. Like, I don't feel like it's appropriate in school, period, unless it's like sexual education.
Which they have ripped out of the school systems.
Which is sad.
Which is why kids are having no choice but to reach out to school officials that they look at as parental figures or, you know, their friend groups in those spaces. So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I think doing that one thing made it so we're having this issue now in Florida. You know what I mean? That they're addressing. If you read,
I feel like they're trying to use it for the wrong thing. I see the idea as being a good idea to just, you know, let children be children at the end of the day and let them, I want them to express themselves naturally without being, you know, of course, like nobody being pushed to do nothing that they don't want to do or speak about things that they don't feel like speaking about, but also having that comfort to actually speak about it when they're ready. You know what I'm saying? And not just being led or not led or, you know, not having nowhere to go. So I get that part of it, you know, but, you know, suing and all that other stuff, that just sounds a little crazy at the end of the day.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'll go. I mean, I don't like the use of children. I think this use of children will be most affected. It kills me. Yet, you know, the things that we have on TV, the movies that children watch, whether they're animated Disney films or not, a lot of these films you can be watching with your children and you'll get more entertainment because you'll know the underlying nuances of what they're talking about or what they're referencing. So I'm a little lost at the fact. Well, I mean, granted, Ron DeSantis is a douchebag and whatever, but I just don't like the fact that children are always used as a scapegoat for, oh, this is destroying the children. This is destroying the children. Yet some of these children come from destructive homes. Okay, and that's the reality of a lot of these situations. These children go to schools for, like you were saying earlier, refuge, where the teacher is making sure the child eats, doing the child's hair, all these other things that we could be more concerned about. I do understand exposing a child to sexual activity and different things at an early age can be problematic, but at the same time, if we're not dealing with what's happening at home, it's not really helping the overall issue. this pushing of kind of Christian values and all this on a nation that was supposed to be religiously independent. It is a bit weird. It is really just a bit weird, especially when all these politicians, most of them, a few of them, that always tote the problems against gays and homosexuals are the ones, with the renter boys and the videos with the, all that other stuff going on. So it's funny to me. Just real funny.
Like funny ha ha or funny gay hey?
Funny gay hey and ha ha at the same time.
It's funny to me that it's only an issue when it's gay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going back to last season when we were talking about the Lil Nas X situation.
Yeah.
It's only an issue when it's gay.
Yeah.
They can. These dudes can do what they want. Fuck these hoes. Group sex, girl.
Right.
Gang bang, child.
Have older women fucking little boys and think that that's okay. That's a good sign of entering into manhood. No, that's abuse. That's sexual abuse.
Mental, emotional, spiritual.
Right. On all levels. So.
But not even just the heterosexual parts. It's also like lesbian sex. It's also glorified as something appropriate and, sexy amongst,
right.
the heterosexual community. It's just deemed okay. It's acceptable. So
it's the fuckery for me.
Lil Nas X can dance on a couple of niggas and it's just blasphemous. But Normani do a little strip dance on Tiana Taylor. It's like, oh, that's cute.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't even do a good job either, might I add. Jennifer Lopez would have ate that up, honey.
Okay. Really?
Jenny from the block, we all know she's a fly girl.
She would have ate that dance up. She would have tried to shake that no ass that she has, child, but she would have made it work. Hello, God. Conscious TV, have any thoughts? Ooh,
yes, I do. There's a few things I find to be fascinating about this issue. One is I can't believe that we're still moving forward with this barbaric ass philosophy about homosexuality. Most people's minds went to sex. I'm like, there's a lot more things to teach than just about sex as it relates to sexuality. We're talking about maybe, in fact, teaching children that their affections and their feelings are okay toward the same sex or toward both sexes. We're talking about gender identity, which has nothing to do with sexuality at all, it has nothing to do with penetration or intercourse. And so I would love to, but all of that is a part of the miseducation to begin with, is that sex. Homosexuals actually love, fall in love, experience the same patterns of affection that any other individual do. They have the same aspirations that any other human being does: marriage, a family, children, a nuclear family, etc. So I didn't get to read the bill exactly. I don't know what the legislation is. I don't know exactly what it says, but I think that it's a narrow way to approach the conversation, because I read a lot of the comments underneath the videos that had to do with this particular bill. And on another note, I think that this is probably one of the atrocities, or maybe one of the sadnesses that come with living in a society, is that we just can't be responsible for every child. At the end of the day, parents have a right to be ignorant, and what happens to their child and how their child grow up is a reflection of them. And that'll be the teachable moment, is you chose to be religious and bigoted, and therefore your child went out, made a bunch of terrible mistakes, tried to be something they weren't, probably got out here, didn't have a proper education around sex, and all of this, contracted HIV, AIDS, a plethora of STIs, and guess what? That's a lot of blood on somebody's hands, on the parents' hands. And I think that we have to continue to build oases of hope outside of the school system, and just offer platforms and institutions and organizations and resources to parents who are struggling to understand us, young LGBT youth that are trying to understand their sexuality, their gender identity, etc. So, like the whole running everything into the school system, it's interesting. Of course, as a queer person, I would have appreciated some seeing myself in textbooks, being able to have those conversations. And it's funny to me how the black community does not like when the LGBT community compares themselves to their struggle. However, this is another prime example of just like integration and how there's this witch hunt against LGBT people, and there's this attitude that if you teach sexuality, this is not a fucking conversion course. Your child isn't going to be gay because they're hearing about LGBT people, because they're hearing about LGBT rights, because they're like, this does not make anyone queer or same gender loving or trans. But once again, that is a part of the miseducation, and it's just unfortunate that people get to choose to be ignorant. We can't force education on people, so it's something that they have to choose.
And I wanted to point out real quick too, it's the Say Gay bill. So the fact that there's even a conversation that I feel like Florida's having, okay, say gay. Being gay shouldn't necessarily be strictly linked or exclusive to acts of sex. I feel like people try to do that too much to us. Being gay is not a sexual act. It's not a conversation. It's a conversation of, yes, your sexuality, but not the act of sex itself. And I feel like that's where, we live in this state where a lot of these people relate that together. And I just think that's another thing they try to put on us. But welcome, Kat. How you doing, boo?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Hey,
wonderful.
Do you have any thoughts on the subject matter, boo?
I would really love a little bit more context as to like what made them present this bill. Like, were people like trying to teach sexuality in schools, or like what made them do this? And my overall thought process on this, I think, would just be, instead of trying to take away something, let's just teach cultural sensitivity. People are not treated fairly. Hispanics are not treated fairly. We had Asian hate. We have things, that we could be learning and instilling in these kids, as opposed to don't say this. But on the inverse, again, I need the background context, because I wasn't taught about sexuality as a kid either. Like, how did it get into the schools in the first place? Like, I don't understand. And sex education is very important. Had I had that, I probably would have made wiser decisions. I probably would have known who I was and identified with myself a lot sooner. But I had to navigate through the world in order to find myself, because I didn't have education in schools. And I can't help but think that this is, and I could be reaching, but I can't help but think that this is like a low-key target to men, because when you think of gay, that's men. Yeah. Women are lesbians. So it's like, I don't know, like, here is another claim that being who you are emasculates you in some way. So I just think it's really stupid. I think, take the pressure off. These are kids. Like Conscious said, we shouldn't, or like Wabi said, we shouldn't be teaching them about sex at all. Like, not in elementary schools, but once we know that they're active, they should properly know how to identify themselves. I don't see a problem with that at all. Not at all.
I agree. I do want to say this, though, to the education part of it. And of course, I don't agree that elementary kids, school kids, should be taught about anything of the sort. But the reality is, a lot of these kids are doing and hooing at very early ages. And these school systems don't mind teaching these kids about 1,000-year wars of bloodshed and death based on racism and religious ideologies and things of that nature. The gore alone, described in a lot of these history books, bitch, you want them to learn about violence so young, and all the death and famine and all these diseases and all this thing, but we have an issue with properly and effectively communicating sexual education.
Right.
So what does the Say Gay bill entail? Like, you just not say the word gay, or is it
you
like
can't say the word or have any conversations surrounding same-sex individuals at all. These kids, they usually do, like we talked about earlier, they come from broken homes. They come from an ununderstanding type of family that will kick them out if they knew these things. So they seek refuge in their teachers, their coaches, their guidance counselors. So they can't even have conversations with the students about this either. So if you were having an issue at school, I mean, having an issue with, you know, sexuality, or you having those conversations with your teacher, guidance counselor, like, because I had some Judies, honey, hello God. I was one of those students, and especially in high school, I had two teachers that was good Judies of mine. They weren't like teachers. We would talk about everything. So if I were to have that conversation with them and they were to engage with me as well, and my parents found out, they can be sued. Wow. It's banned. There's none of that anymore. Meanwhile, down to the church house, the pastor is fondling everybody in the front row and their children. Hello, God.
Yeah. I think it does a disservice not only to the child, but to the peers in the classroom as well, because they're all learning and they get to learn how to respect each other's differences and things of that nature. And I think without it, it just, you know, it creates a sad space that, you know, we have to live in a society where yet again, you're being persecuted for who you choose to love, which I think is ridiculous.
I mean, I go back to my original thought. I think let's not target any culture. Let's just teach cultural sensitivity. Let's just treat everybody with kindness and love. It doesn't matter what your background is or what you look like, who you choose to sleep with. So if we choose a universal love language of just caring and being kind to people, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't fucking matter. Because that's why these kids are feeling ostracized, because they're being teased. They're not receiving love, be it at home, or schools, or, you know, in their communities. They're not receiving love. So we teach them to always expose and display love. You've canceled out whatever. But I think the more you try to suppress something, the more it's going to show. So I don't think this is going to last or do any good at all.
It's not going to help. What's going to happen here is those select teachers that are do-gooders in their nature, that are going to be the Coach Carters, hello God, the Mr. What's his name from Stand By Me,
the Joe Clarks, the Joe
Clarks. I'll be your friend, help you to carry on. That's my shit. Mr. Clark was the deal, honey. He would get the kids together. He was the father. And look how they did that, man. He had to take extreme measures when the outside world was out here shunning the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is you're going to have all of these teachers, like I said before, they're not even going to say nothing anymore.
Yeah.
And I hope if you are one of those educators that you don't stop having that bond with whatever student really needs you in their life.
A real teacher who's there for the right reasons and there for the kids, nothing will stop them from parenting and nourishing them kids. Because you can tell, you deal with these kids 5 days out the week. You know which kids are being malnourished and, you know, not nurtured the right way. It's not going to stop. It's not gonna
change. It's not even just teachers. I know that goes to teachers in this bill, but I was a school bus driver for like about close to 6 years. And I never did this, but I had a lot of close homegirls as bus drivers who would. This one girl, I love her down. I'm not going to say her name publicly, but she's really good people. She made it her business to these students that were these girls that were pregnant at a young age in high school. She would bring them things that they needed for their baby. She would have. She hosted a baby shower for one of her students one time. You know, even myself, like I've met some kids who obviously were struggling with their sexuality, but it's an awkward conversation to have. But if a child came to me and spoke to me, I'm not going to turn them down, because I don't know where you go after this. What home life you got going on? What kind of Harry Potter closet they probably got you living in, girl? I don't know. So if I can give you some words of encouragement or just a conversation to help ease your trouble, mind, honey, I'm sorry, I'm not going to let that stop me, because we say kids are the future, right? But it seems like all we're breeding is scary-ass kids who are so fearful. They don't want to be authentically themselves. I have all these emotional and mental issues, all because of why? Suppression.
But I think it's more so like a natural reaction to what the climate is now. It's like they're not saying, "Oh, you can't talk about sex. You just can't talk about gay sex," right? So it's just like, okay, why are you doing this? What is the reason? So there's a lot of uptick of, visibility for queer people now. You got Pose. Shit, I'm watching and just like that from Sex and the City, the little reboot. They got non-binary people on there. They got queer people. I think Miranda about to be gay. It's like she about to be so it's like these people are watching all of these things and they're seeing like children coming out as non-binary or trans, in public eye now. You have the Zaya Wades and, the Demi Lovato's, and these are people that their kids probably look up to, probably see. So now they're trying to like do this, like, we gotta fix this. We gotta stop some shit. I feel like that's what it is. Like it's like a reactionary bill to try to stop the changes that are that have been happening in the world. So.
But you can't though, because even in the Proud Family, you have a gay couple, and that's going to Disney Plus. So it's like just because it's not being taught in school, they're still going to be exposed to it.
Absolutely, but they trying to stop it because they see that shit at home. They're like, oh no, don't bring that shit to school. And we're gonna make sure you can't bring it to school.
But I mean, I'm not surprised by this because if y'all remember years ago when we were children, they tried to do the same thing with prayer. They tried to take prayer out of the schools, and then they succeeded in that. And then I think I could be mistaken, but at one point we were like teens. They tried to take out the Pledge of Allegiance or the Under God part or something like that. God, Under God. They've been trying to change things since the dawn of time. So.
Well, if that's the case, they need to change the money because the money is very symbolic of a lot of these ancient secret societies that dabble in nefarious behaviors deep in the midnight hour, girl. They need to change a lot of the shit that goes on in the political systems, the religious atmosphere as well. It's full of a lot of hypocrisy and filthy ass bitches who are doing a lot of crazy things. What are we seeing now, girl? They're smearing the girls with spit to prove a point. They're whipping bitches with belts, girl. They're doing a lot of things in the religious area, the political atmospheres. They're doing everything they can to shun the kids, kill us off, all of these things. But y'all get mad when it's gay shit, girl, please. They are out here literally giving out crack pipe kits, girl. They don't care about you.
A whole lot.
I got the bike, girl, please.
It's a holiday. I got the bike holiday.
Okay. You can even take it back to lean on me. You smoke crack, don't you?
Kill your brain cells, son. Kill your brain cells.
I'll give you one better. Dave Chappelle got a peanut butter and crack sandwich.
It was the white lips for me. It was the white lips that just took me over.
Girl, when they had that man in the elementary school, girl, like for career day or whatever, or like why not to turn out to be a drug head? I forgot what episode that was, but girl, Dave Chappelle sunk the hell out of me with that. Y'all didn't mind putting the white kids in that classroom and during that skit? Because that was a very real skit to have children a part of.
Yeah.
So y'all weren't caring about, y'all weren't flying up picket fence, whatever you call that shit, child. Trying to burn the kids down then.
Mm-hmm.
They never do.
Yeah. It all depends on what they choose
to
expose the children to. Because remember, we grew up watching heterosexual things on TV all around us. Everything was heterosexual. Disney movies to anything. So to act as if, this is being thrown upon you and forced down your throats. Imagine what the reverse was doing to a lot of people, making people feel like they couldn't express themselves or be themselves because all they saw was something that they didn't feel was for them. So
it's very disturbing.
It is.
But yeah, just ending that off. Shout out to Florida and your backwards ass ways of thinking. I will be, when my coins are collected, I will be heading out to Canada. Hopefully in the next couple of years, girl.
They got free healthcare out there.
I'm getting clean air. We won't be sucking in all of this toxic atmosphere anymore over here in Canada. I'm on my way, honey, to leave the scourge of America behind, okay?
Yeah, before they close them borders, you better hurry up.
They already are denying applications. Like, people are trying to move there, and Canada is like, girl, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I would tell them that Drake is my long-lost father or something, girl, back when he was in a wheelchair serving on the ground. You know,
I just want to add a little light at the end of the tunnel. Like one of the things that I think is a beautiful supplement is the fact that we live in a technological age. If these kids are able to get online and look up porn, they're also getting online and looking up things around the things that are important to them as well. They're going to get this information. They're going to get these resources one way or the other. So when you're growing up, if you didn't get it, you just didn't get it. You just didn't fucking get it.
But nothing beats the human connection part of that, though. To know that you have someone to call on, to know that you have someone to physically, like in your face, have these moments with.
I get that, YB, but I feel like I would almost prefer like the digital content of the It Gets Better and the coming out stories, because can't no straight woman tell me how to be gay. You can't tell me what my walk is like. So if there was a gay person on campus, yeah, I could probably go to Mr. Williams or whatever his name is and, you know, relate. But I can't go to Miss Sheila and, you know, yeah, she's gonna be endearing and she's gonna be an ally. But mama, you don't know my struggle. You know, I really go the same direction.
But there ain't nothing like a human, like what he said, a human touch of somebody who's not going to steer you the wrong way, who has your best interest at heart, who really cares about you, that you trust. You know, you can read shit online all day long, but like to have somebody in your circle, in your life that you can constantly call on, like there's nothing better than that. You can't substitute that with, you know, shit that you read online. Everybody needs somebody.
Like I love Mariah. Mariah has healed my soul. You know, I gotta throw her in there. Hello, God. She has helped me. She has walked cat, whatever. She has walked with. I just saw your face like this bitch bringing up this hoe again. But you know, she's walked with me. But I don't know her. I can't call that bitch. Like, girl, when you wrote "Make It Through the Rain, Child," you know, you were speaking to me. No, I have to. My friends, my mentor, whoever was in my life that I could really like speak to physically. You know, it really made a difference. But it's great to have the option of the other component as well. That is true. And so if they don't have anybody, at least they have a resource to use to help them through it all. And I do agree. All right. So moving on to the next topic, child. Christian, would you like to spearhead your topic, honey?
Sure. So of course you guys, we've heard about the Tamir Locke situation with the young man who was shot and killed while he was laying down, and there was a no-knock warrant. But recently, a black FedEx driver was basically chased down by a father and son, and who they proceeded to shoot at him. Gregory and Brian Case have been charged with an alleged incident, shooting of a 24-year-old FedEx driver who was delivering packages in the city around about 7 p.m. The driver of a white pickup truck approached him and started blowing his horn. And basically they chased him out. They started shooting at him. Luckily he was not injured at all. I just find it to be really ridiculous. On the heels of Ahmaud Arbery, this only show that they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn, and they know that the justice system is geared towards them. They also know that with pressure, when it's applied, it could end bad for them as far as getting a sentence or whatever. But at the end of the day, though, they can still do things like this. I just find it to be totally just disheartening, disgusting. We're not safe anywhere. We can't be black and have a job and deliver a goddamn package without being a threat to someone. I just find it to be, at this point, like enough's enough. I don't think it'll stop until we start popping them back. Because at this point, it's like, what more do you want? All this kind of, we shall overcome, let's march, let's protest. Where is it getting us? So, but anybody's thoughts on that if you got a chance to look.
Real quick, this is again, we're standing in a rewind session of yesterday because this happened several times, I believe, last year with a bunch of Karens that were accosting UPS, Amazon workers, other delivery guys that were coming through their neighborhoods. And we see this and going back to the Ahmaud Arbery and the rewind session of it all. And this is where I get pissed off with the Black community, because these people have the reference. We see it all the time. Breonna Taylor is the reference for what happened to Zamir Locke. These officers know this. That's very public, very popular information, right? Worldwide tease. You don't care when you go into a situation. You don't think, okay, we got to be more careful. Where's the training, first of all, for y'all to go through this? Every time something happens, like with Breonna Taylor, there should be an immediately new type of way to train people. So your thought process should become different. But that didn't change for them. They did that again to another young man who did end up surviving that situation. Ahmaud Arbery, they got slapped with the entire book of life, child. These people didn't see that. You know, that's another big popular situation. So they don't care.
Yeah.
So as Black people, when I say
calling the cops false, like, didn't they make the false 911 calls against the law at some point?
Certain states and cities, not all of them. Certain
it's not a national thing. It's just
it's not a national thing. It's in certain places. Okay. Like San Francisco, I know is one. That you can't just call the police and accuse someone of doing something, or else you will wind up going to your damn self. But I think that needs to be a universal thing.
Absolutely.
And legislation at this point, legislation needs to start coming out. Like there needs to not be another protest until there is some papers on somebody's desk ready to really like do something about this. Because at this point, what you're saying is they have the green light to do whatever they feel like they need to do if they feel unsafe or if they don't know the reason why you're in their neighborhoods. Who gives a goddamn?
Cap. It's not even about being unsafe. If I'm in a UPS truck and uniform, how in the fuck do you feel threatened by me?
But this is what I'm saying though. But that's their argument. Their argument is quick to be, oh, we didn't feel unsafe. We didn't know what he was doing. He could have been robbed. I mean, that is their go-to. That is their go-to. I'm sure when they did the police interview, you're going to hear, oh, well, there was break-ins in the area and we didn't know. And people's been stealing people's packages and all types of bullshit that they quit to run to as their excuse for doing the most heinous.
It's not up to you to chase and shoot at somebody like that. Even if that's your logic, you should still be prosecuted. That's why I'm just saying there is no consequence.
But they know that the law doesn't apply to them. They know that. Even the least of them know that the law does not really apply to them. A few of them may get in trouble, yes, because of course of the pressure and the magnitude of what the person had done. So then, yeah, it will cause change and people to go, no, that was a bridge too far. But sometimes, most of the time, the majority of the time, history has shown and proven to them that they can do shit and get away with it. Like Trump said himself, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and nobody would care about an eyelash. This is true. This is more true every day when you find out he done shred another piece of document, flushed it down the toilet. The White House toilets was clogged up with papers and shit that he's trying to flush to get rid of. So they don't know the stuff that he's really been doing as he was president. Like, get the fuck out of here. Really? And he's not arrested?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really...
As soon as he was done with his presidency, he was going to get arrested because a president, an active president, couldn't be arrested.
Right.
But he's been out of office for a long time, and ain't nobody even so much as hinted to doing jail time.
It's been like this for so long, though. I mean, I get, but it's not new to nobody. I'm sorry, it's just not new. I mean, it's been happening since the 50s and 60s. White people taking the law into their own hands, lynching people. There were no cops involved. They would literally kill a man, hang him up from a damn tree, and have public viewings. Like, this is not different from what used to happen back then. It's not it's just been it's just
Also,
moved
this
on
still
to a different type of sector. It's a little bit more modern,
It
and we have a
literally
little
is
bit more
still
of a voice,
happening.
but it's the actions are still the same. They can say and do whatever they want to do, and it would be nice to be able to take action and to, you know, just get them back and all this other stuff. But you know that the sentences will be harder for us. They would throw our asses up under the jail. We would never see the light of day. They would manipulate everything up under the sun to get out of making us look like we were just. So,
but can I say something real quick? I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're fine.
I'm going to be brief. That's the issue that I have with the Black community, and this is links to what we're eating, what we're consuming, what we're allowing in our bodies and our minds, our hearts and our spirits, bitch. We have allowed the spirit of being docile to dominate our entire existence. When these crackers ran through the Capitol, that's something that should have been us many moons ago. Many moons ago. When is enough going to be enough? When is it going to, when are we going to have the moment to really bring the revolution? What's a good? They're killing our children. They're killing everybody around us. When is going to be the breaking point to where we say, girl, enough is enough? They say we're only 13% of the population, but girl, that fear is very strong that they have for a little measly 13%.
Yes.
But like the problem is like that could work if we all really, really took care of each other.
But no, that's the problem I have is that we have been socially conditioned to be docile, not just on the sphere of what's been happening to our ancestors and things of that. It's also about the food intake, what we're drinking, all of this aluminum, all of this bullshit. Psychologically in our brains, we have been powered down. We're not, people talk about the woke Black person. They're woke finally. When is the rest of us going to become woke as well to realize that, girl, if we don't stand up and fight, we will be pushing ourselves into extinction. There won't be nothing to fight for. There'll be nothing left.
No.
And that's all I have on there. Conscious. In your regality, honey. Hello, God.
Come on, Aurora.
I'm not going to be right. I'm not going to be satisfied. I still don't know why Black Americans are not a protected class in this country. I don't know why racism at this point is not deemed some type of mental insanity. I feel like literally it needs to go down on the books at this point. This country has enough history between what was done to Africans and what was done to Native Americans to literally deem racism, racist acts, racially inspired and motivated, assaults, violence, murder as like literally to penalize racially motivated acts in the most extreme ways. The only thing that's going to stop pale supremacy. It's the only thing that's going to stop this system. I also think that the reason why we can't stand in solidarity as a community is because that 13% of the population has more luxury and tangibility and accessibility to opportunity in this country than they ever have before. I feel like the reason why our forefathers were able to march and galvanize together was because there was a lot more Black people suffering collectively. So it was easier to inspire people into a breakthrough. Now you got niggas making it out of the barrel. Now you got niggas in a bag. Now you got niggas in the White House. Now you got niggas at the top of the charts. And so now niggas is on some, well, I'm Black, but ultimately it ain't my Black ass. So I'm not going to get out here and inconvenience my life, and my little piece of happiness, and my little piece of island outside the barrel in order to stand in solidarity with my brother, because I'm disconnected from the fact that the truth is there's nothing that can happen to my brother that can't happen to me. Whatever can happen to my brother and happen to my sister is exactly what the fuck can happen to me. So we're out of touch collectively. And I think that the real target here, because racism are always going to have individual actors. I think we have to tear down the actual stage. I think that insurrection that them Karens displayed for us the last year, it's simply time for Black Americans, like you guys were saying, to yield Thor's hammer. It's time to tear shit apart. At this point, we have no choice but to apply pressure when a black man can't even go deliver fucking milk or go deliver Christmas ornaments to a bitch's door in the afternoon without having to run Caucasian people over just to get out of the fucking neighborhood. Like, that's a whole fucking issue. And I listened to that boy's press conference where he spoke about suffering from PTSD. I could imagine you are doing your job and you were hunted. Like, to know you were hunted is something enough to traumatize you for the rest of your life, that there are bullet fucking wounds in the packages in the van. Like, and the fact that FedEx, because this is FedEx, right?
Yeah, put him on.
FedEx is so fucking full of shit. They offered up that white ass, all American ass, perfect political ass. We care so much. You sent this boy back out to work the next day on the same route. These two motherfuckers wasn't even arrested until a week later, which meant that you had him go deliver packages on the same street that his fucking abusers, his oppressors were on. Yeah. Like, he should quit. He should open up a civil suit also against FedEx. Like, get a bag, homie, sit on your ass, get a big bag, and then come back for the rest of us and share that bag.
Yeah.
You know, we stand behind you in your back. But I don't know what else to say at this point about racism other than we're going to have to apply some fucking pressure to our governmental system to literally outlaw racism. Like, hate in this country is going to have to be outlawed. I just don't know how America cannot outlaw hate with all of the blood that's going out.
How do you outlaw something that is being obviously proudly taught within the MEOW experience? Because we talk about hate. Hate can't... Love, to me, I believe, is innate. But hate is something that's taught generation to generation to generation. I see a lot of white kids now, they don't want black friends because of the things they hear their parents talk about in the household. So we have to chop the head off the dragon first, child, you know, and it goes back to unlearning a bunch of shit that's been deeply rooted in our experience here. And that's why I say as much time as we had to endure that type of suffrage, it's going to take equally, if not more time for the repairing and the healing and for a new day to actually begin. And it more than likely will not happen in our lifetime.
I think a major problem is like when Conscious was speaking of like the people who have made it and you know how they don't want to. I don't think, and this is so sad, I don't think the goal is to end racism anymore. I think the goal is to have a piece of the power pie. Somebody said something very wise the other day, and I shared it with YB. People don't want to end slavery. They want their chance to hold the whip. And I think that is the reason why. You know, like you don't really want to stop this. You just don't want to go through it anymore. Right. So once you're out, it's like, okay, cool. You know, like as opposed to like, let me grab somebody. There are no Harriet Tubmans in this world. Nobody's trying to go back and grab anybody and bring them to the forefront to try to, you know, end the systematic racism. I just think
is Master gonna sell us today?
That's like he was cracking his mouth.
So what's interesting about the cat's statement is that it's birthed out of something that we say all the time that pisses black men off, which is that black men are the white men to the black community, that they want power, not equality. Yeah. But the issue with that is that we literally have black people who just don't give a fuck. And a prime example of that is the CEO of the Black Lives Matter movement, who have taken her funds and made a lot of luxurious purchases that people who parents of these individuals who were killed throughout the past few years had to pay for their own hotels, had to pay for their own flights. All of those donations were supposed to, that donated money was supposed to go toward.
Right. Shout out to Tamir Rice's mother, who was the spearheader of that situation too. Because Tamika Mallory, you and the rest of those sorry ass bitches over there, you will get your just due, girl. Period. Because now you want to frolic in the hay with Portia and what's that other bitch from New York that has no life whatsoever but running behind you?
Oh, Yandy Luther King.
okay, like for real, girl. It's Conscious. You okay?
He on mute.
Oh. I just wanted to insert that. I didn't want to, interrupt him. But yeah, I just, it's obvious. People use these stools that they're on in life to garner things from people. We're standing up. We're doing this. Are you really?
Right.
It's like these pastors with these mega churches,
right,
ATMs and all this stuff.
You have to speak up for everything. There's a man just when TREMEL was talking about they used to lynch back in the day. No, there's a guy in Mississippi who just got lynched and beheaded. They lynched him and beheaded him in his own backyard. And nobody is saying it. Still hasn't made headways. My niece posted it on her story, and that's how I know about it because nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, they were stringing up people out here in Georgia, damn in the park.
And black people are still.
They still don't know who did it,
and we don't know where these people are.
Let me tell y'all something. Prepare the PTO. Prepare the others because, bitch, if anything like that ever happened to someone that I knew personally, girl, I am burning the city down. Like, period. I don't understand. Like, what is it going to take people for you to wake the fuck up and realize? Like, stop dreaming. Stop living in this la la land. You have to physically effect change in order for it to become effective. Yeah. Sitting on the sidelines of life gets nothing done. Watching video recording shit like with George Floyd. I'm sorry, I would have judo kicked the shit out of him.
Me too. I was thinking that too. I was thinking that too. Nobody decides to kick one of these men off of this man, like just
right.
He would have still been alive today.
He's scared of getting shot. Hell, they got guns.
Girl, they wouldn't even have the opportunity. But before I horse kick the shit out of them bitches with this unicorn size 12, bitch, I am going to get girl. It's the broccoli's been done. Period. Like
I just couldn't sit and watch it.
Watch that, yeah.
I got shot, then I just got because I'm just not gonna sit and watch it
somebody kill somebody.
And I'm definitely not gonna pull out my phone and film it. Like that's just
I get it, it's a side of protection, but at the same time to sit there, hold my phone, which means you're in some type of right mind. That would, first of all, that would traumatize the fuck out of anyone. So to actually just be able to steadily hold your phone, and I'm not blaming nobody. I get it. That was a female. That situation probably had her in all kinds of feelings. But just innately though, like I could not stand by. I can't let someone sit in front of me and abuse a kid, let alone actively in process murdering somebody.
9 minutes. That is a long fucking time.
But just imagine what the ancestors went through while they watch their relatives or other people get beat, whipped.
Imagine what his mom, like,
and just standing there,
and she was dead. So it's just a lot. It's just.
I have my thoughts too about all this shit, but I'm not gonna get into it because it's Black History Month, girl. Because for something to last 600-700, if you ask me, it's happening for thousands of years. We just started to catch up with it when they started to record the actual events. Hello, God, or something what. They say the
children getting abused. Did y'all see that video, that Ring video of that guy like kind of tossing his daughter back inside the house when she was like, "Don't talk to me"?
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see
that. He was getting ready to take her to school, and he was like, go get in the car. He said something to her, and she was like, "Don't talk to me," and he was like, "Okay." Like he kind of took a beat, and he said something to her, and she didn't say anything back. He said, "You know what? I'm not gonna deal with this today. Go inside. Your mom's gonna take you to school." So she got to like the doorway. And she just kind of stood there in defiance, like, I'm not going to do what you say. So he took her by the arm and kind of like pushed her inside. And everybody is up in arms saying, like, he abused her.
Oh, they need to shut the fuck up.
It's like
she was just mad because she ain't getting no breakfast. And he said he was going to get her some on the way to eat, on the way to school. And she was just like, don't talk to me. I would have did way worse. I would have beat her ass.
Right. Yeah,
don't talk to me, girl. You don't get to say that to me. Take your ass in the house.
Who was doing the recording?
It was a ring light, the doorbell.
It was just a ring.
He was just locking the door, and when you linger, it just records.
So who had? How did the footage get?
I believe the mom posted it, but the dad has already spoken out and was just like, "What y'all don't know is this, that, and the third." And like TREMEL said, I was going to take her to Starbucks and this, that, and the third. She just had an attitude. I just, I don't
He
think
was very educated when he spoke to her. He was like, I'm not dealing with your attitude today.
Yeah, I've seen worse. I've had worse done to me. My daddy would have slapped me into the car, like from the door. So I don't think that was bad parenting.
I would have slapped me
What's
into the
gonna
ground,
happen
baby.
is you're gonna make me double down on the ass whipping because I'm gonna beat you for the initial offense, and then I'm gonna beat you for
And
the
then
ass
I'm gonna think about it.
my
Right.
ass to social
Yeah.
media. So
Right.
it's gonna quadruple the ass whipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wear your ass out here like child.
The girl said, "Don't talk to me."
Yeah, she was like, "Don't talk to me." It was like real.
No, but I don't understand. So is the mom and the dad together? Are they
Yeah.
the wife? So why the fuck would the mom?
I don't know why she posted that. She being
Nobody
stupid.
knows. Nobody knows. She was literally inside the house. I guess he was leaving first and he was gonna take her, but when she got the attitude, he was like, "Go inside, your mama gonna take you. I ain't dealing with you. I'm gonna go to work."
Right.
But for her to post it, she should have already known like what would come from that though. So
I think she was just trying to go viral. You
I
know,
think
this is clout
I think so
chasing.
too.
Like
Yeah,
even they did try to clout chase off their kids and stuff like that. They like to
That
post little
too.
weird, funky, ducky shit. Like the dude that was his daughter was, you know, dancing in front of him and stuff, and he was like cheering her on, and she was like kind of giving him a lap dance. He posted that shit. That shit was so weird. Like, what is going on with these people?
Remember when that guy whooped that girl in that garage and he went live and he was
yeah, that's I don't know why they be posting that nasty ass weird shit.
They always do stuff like that.
These people are stupid and idiot. But we have a lot to learn, and moving forward, I just hope that we just awaken. That way we can preserve ourselves, our futures, our children's futures, and to allow the type of violence that has been plaguing our communities to continue on. People like to say, "Oh, slavery's gone." It just came back in a different way, baby. You just don't realize it yet because you're full of. They've made you sniff the crack of life, child. Shout out to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, girl. They're from crack pipes for everyone, girl. Get your free crack pipe set, girl. We're all gonna be.
You know what? I'm not even going into that.
This is his version of the Obama phone, girl. Yes. When you sign up for food stamps, you get a free crack pipe kit, girl. Hello, God. Yes. What you can do is knock that gas price down for me, baby. I don't need no crack pipes, bitch. I need affordable gas.
Yeah.
Higher wages.
Hello.
And to get rid of goddamn student loan debt. Thank you very much.
Or lower these apartment rents,
yes,
bitch.
God. Lower the cost of living and lower these gas because I have a sedan. I have a car and I'm paying $40 to fill it up. That's unbelievable.
Mm-mm.
That's hurting the pockets. So they need to go ahead and give us what groceries are high. Everything's high. Shit, people are high because they can't stand the shit. That's why they're giving out crack pipes, girl. They want you to calm down, girl, because they don't want you to live in the reality of what they're really trying to do to you. But moving on to something a little bit lighter, over to the entertainment section. Conscious TV, hello God, bring us the tea.
I don't know if I would feel like it's lighter if I owed a bitch $4 trillion from a lawsuit, but of course we have to talk about the Cardi B and Tasha K civil suit that took place a few weeks ago, where Cardi B, raptress, ran down on blogger Tasha K for slander and defamation of character, accused Cardi B of everything from prostitution and to also allegedly having a sexually transmitted disease on her vaginal parts. She facilitated a plethora of interviews with people who claim to have known Cardi B, stayed with Cardi B. It was a hot mess. And our poor Tasha, she acted a plum fucking fool throughout the entire trial. She was an entertainer during this trial, not a person being sued for $4 million. So it was a very interesting trial to bear witness to, but nonetheless, Cardi B won. Tasha K was found guilty on all counts, and now she's indebted to $4 million to Cardi B. Now, Tasha K does plan on appealing this case. She says that this infringes upon her First Amendment rights, and there may be some actual basis to that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds once people know how it actually work. But yeah, it's a chance that Tasha K actually, like Maxine Warder, may be able to reclaim her motherfucking time and respect on her motherfucking name. So that's going to be fascinating. So everybody was having questions on social media about how this would impact bloggers. And so my question to you guys is, does this lawsuit change the way that we speak about one another, the way that we speak about celebrities? Do y'all feel that bloggers or journalists, media in general, should be penalized for doing what media has always done since the inception of Hollywood, which is talk, rather truth or tall tales?
Don't lie on me unless I authorize it. If I call you, I'm on my Kardashian shit, and I call you with a lie, run with it. But don't lie on me just for the sake of running the story. Like that's not news. Those are lies. Just plain lies, you know. So, you know, and then I think with Tasha, what did you expect, Mama? You got on the stand and said, "Yep, I lied. I knew it was a lie, and I ran with it. Yep, yeah." That's the basis of the whole case. You said something that wasn't true, and you saying, "Yeah, I did it." Why are you surprised that you lost? Why are you trying to appeal this? Well, I don't think she's surprised that she lost. But why are you trying to appeal this? I get that you have First Amendment rights, but, and I'm not trying to call her ignorant, but a lot of times when people talk about the freedom of speech, they conveniently forget about the freedom of consequence. Every action has an equal or opposite reaction. Just like the news cycle been going, that's been going too. So why did you touch fire and not expect to get burned? I just let it go. Girl, move on with your life. You still got your channel, you still got your business. You've already capitalized on it. Move on. She looked angelic in her video when she gave her statement. I did think the breath was a little. Like I thought that was a little bit much. It was given. What's that baby name? Travis Scott. When all the people had died, it was given. What you doing? But outside of that, I just let it go. Move on. It's happened. You capitalize. Move on and pay the woman. Pay her.
Bloggers, personalities, whatever. If you're going to run a story in the realm of journalism, even though you may not have I don't know her credentials or anything like that, but when you run stories that are in the appearance of the realm of journalism and newscasting, you need to have your facts. That goes back way beyond. And I know gossip channels are a little bit different. They like to kind of make things spicy and you know, hide or bend the truth or add a little extra sauce to it for entertainment value. But you still have to be mindful of your words and how you use your words to describe people in situations, because there are laws like defamation of character, slander, you know what I'm saying, that can get your ass together.
And even if you don't get prosecuted by the law, it still stains your credibility.
Like, no one's going to want to conduct business with you or interview with you or trust you for that matter in that vein. And I do love this situation because it sets a clear precedent in that space. No one would have thought Cardi had time. No one ever would have thought a defamation of lawsuit case would actually be won. They're very difficult to win. But like I said in the video, I talked briefly about the situation on when, like to Kat's point, you told on yourself, girl. You openly stated these things in court. How an appeal is going to work, I have no idea, because Cardi B probably won based on the fact that Tasha told on herself. And not just publicly in her videos, but also in a public courtroom. So
view the whole picture. If you feel like you have the freedom of speech to say what you want, why can't you have the freedom to fight back? It's a fair fight. You talked about me. I didn't like it. I want to take action. It's a fair fight. You lost. You know, like, don't be a sore loser about this situation. Like, you went into this knowing what the outcome may be, and it was. Just take it, you know, on the chin and just keep moving. Like, be thankful for the fact that you still have a diehard fan base. She lost a couple thousand subscribers, but for the most part, mama, you're not losing no sleep or no money. Like, you're blessed. Pick up your losses and go.
Yeah.
To my last point on this matter, I love it because, like I said, it sets a precedent. And I think this goes to a lot of those girls out here in these streets that do anything for clout. You want that click, you want that view, girl. What will you do for a Klondike bar? You know, a lot of these girls are in those realms where they're what do you call that thing? What do you call that thing that you put on your video before they watch it?
Watermark. Disclaimer. The disclaimer.
The disclaimer, not the disclaimer. The
fair act.
The picture.
Thumbnail.
Huh?
Thumbnail.
Their thumbnail. They're doing thumbnails that don't relate to the video, or they're jazzing it up a little bit, or they're editing voiceover content to make conversations look like someday and they're really another way. So this is going to speak boldly to the girls in our world, in our lanes. Watch what the fuck is coming out of your mouth. Do your research. And girl, if you want to be one of those click and view, be prepared to cough up that coin. Because now again, Cardi has set the precedent, and some of these girls got time and they got endless coin to get your ass together.
Yeah.
That's all I have on.
Well, Cardi B literally told Tasha K that she didn't need no fucking press. Press. Cardi don't need no motherfucking press. Yeah. Now, before TREMEL and Christian go, I want to say, so what's interesting about the appeal, and this is what's going to be interesting, is that the case was marketed by media as having to do with the bumpy situation, or lack thereof. But the reality is that Cardi B sued her for defamation of character. Mm-hmm. There was evidence regarding Cardi's character, things that the judge threw out, dismissed, did not allow the jury to see, to hear, to bear witness to, which pretty much looms toward a mistrial, because there were things that were relevant to the argument regarding whether Tasha K actually injured or misspoke about Cardi's character, when there are things that have played out and happened publicly, etc., that clearly demonstrate the character that Tasha K ultimately, so-called allegedly, injured. That, to Tasha's point, was already injured. Like, we're not talking about Mary Had a Little Lamb here. We're not talking about Mother Teresa here. We're talking about a woman who has spoken about her stripper days, allegedly drugging men,
robbing them
during her stripper days, drugging and robbing them.
Yep.
Damn near assaulted another pop star at a fashion show. Pulled up, it's just like a plethora of things. Cardi has litigations this year with 2 strippers who are alleging that she incited a mob, a violent attack against them, which left those strippers injured. And my camera is going out. So that's what's going to be the basis for the appeal. And that's where it's going to get interesting. I don't think that Tasha K is going to walk away scot-free, but I do think that it will probably lessen what she's being sued over. She's going to be found guilty on some of those things, but some of these things they're going to have to take off the table for sure if she gets another trial.
I will say $4 million is a bit extensive. I just lied on you, girl. Like, yes, people may have talked about you, and yes, you may have been defamed as far as your character, but Cardi ain't missed a check.
Yeah.
Well, no, $4 million may be extensive, but it's an add-on. This is a couple of years now on top of lawyer fees and all kinds of different fees that she has to pay. And I don't know this to be fact. I heard this in the wind, so I'm doing my job reporting that I don't really know if this is true or not. So this is allegedly that she wasn't paying certain taxes and things of that nature. So when discovery happens in the process of court, all of your financials are put out there, and within that comes, hey girl, we done discovered some other nefarious things that you weren't doing this. So that's why I think it added up finally to be around like $4 million. And I think the original actual defamation suit was like 1.2 million. And then after they discovered all of those alleged things, the price tag went up a little bit.
Whoopsie.
Literally whoopsie. Because damn, girl.
Yeah, it was a lot of other stuff that wasn't that wasn't reported. But the IRS was sitting there, had a front row seat to be like, "Oh, girl, this. Oh, you never mentioned this company. Oh, you have decent assets. Oh, okay." So they were marking down too. What I will say about the whole thing, obviously, this woman has never cracked open a National Enquirer to realize that, I mean, when you talk shit about people, people have the right to sue you, especially if they are a particular realm of entertainment, because that's what they use for their livelihood. So when you throw something out there that can deter them from getting a role or something where they make money, you start interfering with other machines, not just the person, but the machine that runs behind them. So Cardi been told this woman, "Hey, take it down, stop it, whatever," and you chose to ignore it. So not only did she then come, the people that pay her, the record label behind her, all the other endorsements came and said, "Okay, no, we can't have this, because at the end of the day, if you're saying she has herpes or whatever, allegedly, who's gonna want to do a love scene with her?"
Exactly.
If in fact she gets a role to do. So who you stopping early bags here by putting this garbage out that in fact may not be true. So I mean, I just didn't. I thought it was just distasteful. And then to try and throw up your fist and act like, oh, now all of a sudden you're Tasha X, and this was an affront on Black women and what it represents to Black girls, that you should go out there and be shaking your behind. But I'm like, okay, nobody cared about Nicki Minaj when she was talking about Anaconda and shaking her ass on the floor. That wasn't an issue.
Oh, the issue was it wasn't her ass; it was someone's bar. It was borrowed child.
Oh,
and stuffed into a bag and then wrapped around like a belt.
Oh.
Oh Lord!
Oh, this is my allegedly, girl.
Bitch. These thoughts and comments do not reflect the Catch Me Out, honey. Do not come my way toward me, girl. I ain't got nothing to give y'all. No, ma'am.
No, but
I'm like, yeah, Marie, I ain't got it.
Yeah, it just don't make sense to me.
Okay, hashtag I ain't got it.
The fact that you outraged about.
I was just giving examples of like what's too far. You know what I mean? That's
way to clean it up. Okay.
It's the outrage for me.
And I feel like what's ironic about Tasha K is that because I was watching somebody's live and they were talking about how she had an issue with Wiley, and it was sort of it was on a much smaller scale, but basically Wiley was bringing her name up in conjunction with somebody else, and as a friend she was like, "Hey Wiley, don't mention me in conjunction with this person," and when he continued to do it, she had a problem. And her version of taking action was, ceasing friendship or, ceasing business ties with him because she didn't want to be associated with that. So for you to know what Cardi, you can relate to her just saying, this is not cool. Can you not do it? You wanted him to respect you, but you couldn't respect Cardi.
Well,
he couldn't get views off Cardi.
So that was this is what was going to be my question is, there's also been conversation around, is this a win for Tasha K? Because to Kat's point, obviously we know, especially based upon Tasha K's conduct during the trial, that this was never about right or wrong. Tasha K wanted the smoke because the truth is this is a win when it comes to entertainment media. This is why tabloids and the Enquirer and paparazzi and this form of media exists, and it thrives upon you being able to hijack another celebrity's algorithm in life, hijack their history, hijack their reputation to get on their radar in some way, because clicks and views equal cash and equal sensationalism. Why we have a Nene Leakes, or we have a Kenya Moore, or we have an antagonist in every genre is because we are a culture that not only loves who we love, we also love to hate people as well. Both people profit equally. Both the hero and the villain profit from the visibility, because we need somebody we love to hate and somebody who we love to adore. And so do y'all think that this is a win for Tasha K? Because Tasha K is going down in Cardi B's history as probably the only blogger that will ever be sued, in all honesty.
In some regards, she
never even sue another outlet.
Yeah.
I mean, in some regards she's winning, but in other regards, it's like you wanted the smoke, then pay for the smoke. It's an expensive. It's expensive smoke.
I mean, it depends on which angle you look at it from. It definitely depends on which angle you look at it
Right.
from. But I would say,
Go for
in
it.
essence, bro, you paying $4 million for promotion. I don't think promotion is worth $4 million. Like, yes, everybody with a platform was talking about you for a good 2 weeks to a month. Yes, so you were sensationalized, but the cost of that is literally $4 million.
It's a lot larger than what she thinks.
I just want people to start understanding that freedom of speech is not slander, honey. Yeah. They are not the same. They're not similar in any shape or form. When you start slandering somebody, that's not you speaking your opinion. Yeah. That's literally you lying and making shit up. That's not freedom of speech. That's ignorance. That's stupidity. It's insanity. And your ass need to be thrown in a goddamn padded ass room. So when people say, "Oh, I was just using my First Amendment right of freedom of speech," no, bitch, you was talking shit out the side of your neck, and you were disrespecting somebody that did not ask to be disrespected in that way. That's not freedom of speech. Right. It's not the same thing. It's not you speaking up for yourself. It's not you, expressing an opinion that is valid. It is you literally talking out the side of your neck about some shit that you just should not have said. So I am so glad that she has to pay the $4 million. I hope she does not win, because she needs to understand the way I saw this woman speaking. It was just so weird to me that you are so far up this lady's vagina that you can speak about her in these ways that I don't even think they've ever even met. No. Like, have they met? Do they know each other personally? You were talking about this lady like a dog.
Oh yeah, now they have.
Like, you know who she is now because you owe her some money. But like at the end of the day, you didn't know this lady from Lent. So why would you even think that it was okay to come out your neck?
Literally said on trial that she thought that she didn't care whether it was true or not. And ultimately, she felt like Cardi B could afford therapy if she needed it due to the bad.
Actually, she can now with that $4 million.
I personally think she was doing it to appease Nicki Minaj. I think
because this is just my ignorance. Freedom of speech, is that not just the freedom to speak? Like, does freedom of speech also protect the context of the speech, or just the ability to speak freely?
No, it's literally to speak your mind on things that you are passionate about, that are truthful, that are valid, that nobody can just say that you can't say that. That is true. But you still can't say whatever the fuck you want to say. I'm sorry.
Your freedom of speech comes with a limit. Like, you cannot say things that would harm, endanger, incite harm to someone or somebody else. So there are certain things that in your freedom of speech that you cannot say, and defaming someone is touching that area, especially when you're taking from someone's livelihood. Like, you can't just go around and do that. That's not something that you can just do because you think that you can do that with no basis. It's just.
So freedom of speech really is in the context of speaking openly against your government. But you can't use your freedom of speech to impugn upon another person's well-being. Which is why people have the right to hold your black ass accountable for injuring them financially or emotionally. The reason why, though, Cardi B had to go for libel and not slander is because, once again, as a celebrity, it is hard to prove slander. Yeah. So she had to yield more to like an emotional distress, which is why she cried on stand. And she spoke about how the things Tasha K said allegedly drove her to suicide. She didn't want to have sex with her husband, etc. Boom, 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 boom. Which also opened up questions around, the power of our voice. Now, of course, there's people who don't believe that Cardi B was performing. And to her point, as I said in my commentary, bitch, you better. If I was putting out hundreds of thousands of dollars to sue a bitch, I'm having a miscarriage on stand, period, bitch. You ain't seen it before.
Y'all, right. Y'all gonna see
I
shit,
had
bitch.
to be on the stand.
I'm coming in with a neck brace, an arm sling, on crutches, bitch.
Period.
Your Honor, it's been tough. Like,
Okay.
A mess.
Well, I think, closing out, I really do think that people just need to be mindful of what comes out of their mouth and how you talk to people, the things you say. If you want to be looked at as credible in this, arena, again, whether you're doing it as a real journalist or not, people still have their rights and people still can feel how they want to feel. And whether she won or lost, I live for a bitch standing up for themselves, and you ain't gonna get me together. Let me put this old white woman old way of doing it on your ass and with that money. I may not be able to hurt you like physically, but let me hurt those pockets, and that's gonna hurt even more. So again, whether win or lose, I think it's a great lesson nonetheless. Any closing remarks, guys?
stop lying on people.
All I can say is that the world of entertainment is not one based upon morality, unfortunately, or else the form of entertainment that thrives in reality TV, the fighting, the fussing, the cussing, the throwing the chairs, the salaciousness of it all, it doesn't exist. Unfortunately, it does. I think that this is a topic like this is it's very multi-layered because it has a lot to do with society. Even when we were talking about like the George Floyd situation earlier, and we were talking about like what we would do in those situations, but the reason why we don't really see anybody doing those things in all the situations that played out, we never saw anybody jumping in, anybody coming to anybody's defense, like people just went down in the blaze of glory, is because we're not really cultivating a society that inspires us into that level of humanity. And so we idealize ourselves, we idealize each other, and then when the situation comes, everybody is on their phones to people's points. People would rather press record or call the police. Nobody wants to give up their own lives. Right. We have to think about whether it makes more sense to have Harriet Tubman as a role model versus Cardi B or Nicki Minaj or 2 Chainz. We have to think about what is depleting our morality in this current climate, and it really is because none of our fucking idols none of our idols inspired the level of humanity necessary to bring out all of our higher selves. And so we're really in a place where we need to really focus on what type of society do we want to create, and what, because it's going to have to also, like, human beings require stimulation. It's not enough for us to like want these things. We need to see these things in our stories. We need to see, these things have to be reinforced into our minds. We have to condition ourselves and constantly this is why people go to church every Sunday, that constant reinforcement, like remind me against my own narcissism, remind me against my own egotism, remind me to be a better person. Like, we are going to have to get in charge of that. And so
I agree, Conscious. I think getting yourself together individually is the start, and I think as a culture we just need to jump on the cord, because we can't lead a charge anywhere if we're going in 6 different directions. So I think we should all gotta kind of come to a consensus of like, what do we want as a people, as a race, as a human culture, and then from there let's move forward. Because I think that's where we run into a lot of problems. You have your Tamika Mallory's and different people speaking up for us, and we're like, we never said that. We don't feel that way. We don't know you. So it's like, coming together and then, moving as a unit. Because that's one thing I can say about white folks. Whether it's in racism or in capitalism, them motherfuckers don't move as a unit.
Absolutely.
Talk about it.
The poorest white person still think they're better than the richest black person. And they carry themselves as such.
We need to start caring in these motherfuckers. So when somebody let me speak to your manager, oh no, you didn't, ma'am. I'm in distress. I feel,
reverse Uno.
Exactly. Okay. Get these hoes together.
It's like, what you ain't gonna be Karen, you're gonna be Carisha.
I'm gonna be Carisha, bitch.
All right, y'all. So,
you gotta make sure you ain't got no warrants, because you don't want to call the cops and they come up and pick your ass.
And that's why we ain't calling 911 like we should.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Any other thoughts real quick before I do the quote and we're gonna get up out of here?
It was a great show. Great show.
Okay. Great show. Here's the quote for today. It's a video form, child.
Path forward? I don't. There is so much uncertainty. In truth, there always has been. What I do know is that the same guts and imagination that got you to this moment, all those things are the very things that are going to sustain you through whatever is coming. It's vital that you learn, and we all learn, to be at peace with the discomfort of stepping into the unknown. The answers will come for sure.
That was Miss Oprah, girl, giving her tea.
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey.
If that was great granddaughter up there with her Illuminati ass talking about some.
Okay, Winfrey.
As always, everyone, I do appreciate you for joining us for this episode of the Yes God Roundtable. Make sure you're tuning in every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a new episode, okay? Everyone on the panel's information is in the description box, so please go over to their platforms and get into it, bitch, okay? We really do appreciate you all. Remember to be blessed and never stressed, and remember that health is wealth, bitch. Yes. And we're out of here. Bye.
Peace.